All right, Rise of Shadows card review part 2. Let's go. So we're going to start things off with the new Hagatha card, Swamp Queen Hagatha. Now, this card seems to be quite strong, and a lot of people feel like it might be a little bit overpowered, and it might be. This card has a lot of power potential, being able to get 2 spells that you get to choose how to discover for 5 mana and a 5/5. That is pretty good, but it is also pretty slow to activate because you need to get that off of the Hagatha, which is 7 mana, which is just a 5/5, and you kind of need to plan ahead what you're going to be doing with that. So what I think the best case for Hagatha is to be in some kind of control-y shaman, where you're using the horror that you get off of Hagatha as kind of like a Kazakus potion that is always 5 mana. There's a lot more variance in what you're getting, where you want to pick your spells very reactively based on what you might think you're going to need out of the matchup, rather than doing this proactively with some kind of like mid-range deck where you look for like Bloodlust and damage cards. I don't think it's going to be fast enough for that. I think it could be good if like some kind of like Reno Shaman were to exist. So the card is definitely strong, unquestionable, but we'll have to see what people are going to be able to do with it. All right, next card, we're going to talk about Oblivitron for a minute here. Someone on Hearthstone said it wouldn't be a Hearthstone expansion without a bad Hunter Legendary, which I'm not going to deny. This card is not that great. But it does feel like this card was definitely printed for Wild, as you can do a lot more with mechs and death rattles in Wild. Dane pointed out that you can play this on 10 with Umbra and pull out Sneeds to trigger both this and have a Sneeds out, and then have Sneeds pull out a legendary in one turn. It is pretty decent. You could do some kind of mech rattle, death rattle hunter with N'Zoth, something fun is the key word. But I don't think this card is going to be all that good. And next up, we have Lazul's Scheme. We have the Scheme card for Priest, which is 0 mana, reduce the attack of an enemy minion by 1 until your next turn, which upgrades each turn. So there's a lot of aspects to this very weird Priest card. So the first thing, which is the least interesting thing, is you can use it to make trades more favorable, I guess. But the thing that this card is clearly designed for is to synergize with things that want your opponent's minions to be at low attack, like Shadow Word Pain and Shadow Word Horror, Forbidden Words, and Cabal Shadow Priest and Potion of Madness. There's a lot of interesting things you can do with this card, and it might be worth to do those things. You could have your opponent, like a big priest, play out like a Lich King, let's say, and then you use Lazul's Scheme, which you've had in your hand for a while, to reduce it to 2 attack, and then you take it, and then you can use Divine Spirit, Inner Fire on your opponent's Lich King for 32 damage. So it can turn something in an Inner Fire deck in your opponent's deck into a target that wouldn't have normally been a target before. So this card is very synergy heavy. It obviously doesn't do enough on its own, but that's not to say that it doesn't do enough to be put into a deck. There's probably a place for it somewhere. I'm just not fully sure where it is. It's probably an Inner Fire deck, if you ask me. All right, the next card we're looking at is Improve Morale, which is a 1 mana spell card for Warrior that will give us a Lackey. So one of the important things to know that we got from this reveal is that they're going to be making Lackey cards for all of the classes that are represented by one of the Evil League members. So the classes that have lackeys are Shaman, Rogue, Warlock, Warrior, and Priest. And as I said last time, I think the lackeys are going to support a zoo / tempo kind of archetype / token kind of archetype. So I think some of these classes here might use the lackeys a little bit better than the others, but I still think all of the classes can use them, probably not very effectively, but all of these classes have had a faster deck exist that I guess could kind of use some of these, but I'm not so sure if we're going to see the lackeys at all. Anyway, let's take a look at this card and see why we'd want to play it. So this card looks like Blood to Ichor, right? It's deal 1 damage and then you get a minion. But how is this card different? It's you're spending 1 more mana whenever you choose to play out this minion. Except the minion is not a 2/2, it's a 1/1, but also the minion has a strong battle cry. So you're paying a little bit of extra mana to do a little bit more. Is that better than Blood to Ichor? I don't know. I guess. Kinda. Would this work in an Enraged style Zoo Rush Warrior? Maybe. I don't know. It might be enough. It's probably not enough, but printing more cards like this to have enough cards to actually play that kind of deck is what matters. So I guess, I don't know, probably not. All right, next card we have is Omega Devastator. Now, a little bit of trivia for this card is if you go back to the original announcement trailer for the Boomsday project where they were showing off all the new mechanics and whatnot, the card art for this card is actually the original card art for Omega Defender. And then halfway through the reveal schedule, they just suddenly changed the card art to what we have now. And now they're using this card art again. So that's interesting. I don't think we've ever seen anything like that before. But the card itself, obviously really good. It is very good in a control style warrior. It's literally, it's once you get into the late game, it's removal that doesn't need support in warrior. You don't need a condition other than 10 mana. I'm honestly glad that this card is not odd, and it shows that Blizzard is at least thinking about odd versus even though Baku and Gen have rotated to wild. All right, last card of the day, we have Rafam's Scheme. Is this card good? Probably not. Where would you ever play this card? I don't think you ever would. You'd probably be better off playing Implosion, or you probably wouldn't want to play Circle of Fiends. You're probably just better off playing Implosion, right? In any kind of like zoo deck, I don't think the payoff is good enough waiting a long time to just summon some imps. As much as I like to give every card a chance, I don't think this card is going to see that much play, honestly. And that's going to be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. The card reveal schedule, the full card reveal stuff is coming pretty soon, so hopefully I'll be able to keep up with all of that. If I don't, then I don't. But hopefully I do keep an eye out for that. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.